Every night at 11 o'clock, a 22-pound Maine Coon named Moose crosses the living room of a house outside Bangor, Maine, and sits down against Carol's ankles. Robert is 3 feet away, in the recliner, closer to the kitchen. Closer to the food bowl, too, for what that's worth. Worth nothing. Moose has never once chosen that chair, not in 11 years. 3 mornings ago, Carol found a dead cricket centered on her pillow, legs folded like it had been arranged there on purpose. A gift, presumably, for her, not for Robert. He feeds Moose twice a day, scoops the litter box, covers the vet bills. 11 years of that arrangement, and he's never been handed so much as a moth wing. Nothing. Something in Moose drew a line straight through the middle of this 2-person household a long time ago, and it hasn't moved since. Tonight, the same line can be tested on any cat in any house. 3 tells to watch for. Does it close its eyes slowly and hold the gaze, the gesture owners call the cat kiss? Does it pick a worn t-shirt over an empty half of the bed? Does it plant itself at a doorway or a hallway corner after dark and hold that post until the house goes quiet? Run all 3 tonight, and you'll know more about that cat's private hierarchy than most owners piece together in a decade of living with one. This is standard Maine Coon behavior. 1 cat, several humans in the house, and always, without fail, 1 clear favorite. The breed itself is part of why these small choices land as oversized. A male Maine Coon can approach 30 pounds, in the range of a medium dog, a beagle, say, carried on paws broad enough to nearly span an adult hand. Call it decorative. It isn't. When an animal built at that scale decides where it sleeps, who it walks beside, and whose ankle it leans against at 11 o'clock sharp, the decision carries actual weight. Not sentimental. Actual. None of that explains Moose. Robert isn't cruel, isn't distant, gives no one any reason to think the cat dislikes him. He simply isn't Carol. The first clue to why shows up the moment she stands and walks toward another room. Because Moose doesn't stay in that chair by the kitchen. Moose crosses the kitchen tile, then the hallway rug, then settles half astride behind Carol's left ankle, close enough that she has to check before she swings any door shut. People who track this kind of thing borrowed a name from herding dogs, an escort run. The cat treats the chosen person as livestock worth accompanying, not out of insecurity, but something closer to assigned duty. Looks like anxious attachment. Well, actually, cats with 0 anxiety run the identical pattern. The tell is that they walk beside, not underfoot, and peel off the second a door clicks shut behind their person. The slow blink isn't a smile, though it gets called one. In 2020, Tasman Humphrey at the University of Sussex ran a controlled comparison. Owners slow blinked at their own cats. Strangers slow blinked at the same cats, and the cats blinked back measurably more at the familiar, slow blinking face than at a neutral one sitting in the same room. Not affection dressed up as reflex, a return signal, deliberate enough to score on camera. The chirp runs on a separate channel entirely, built in the throat and nose together, a trilled sound that shows up almost nowhere in a cat's exchanges with anyone but the chosen person. Not with other cats, not with a stranger reaching down to pet it. Often, not even with the second favorite human under the same roof. The ordinary meow goes to whoever opens the can. The chirp stays reserved. Does any of that reservation leave a mark you can actually see? Biscuit, a Maine Coon in Elena's apartment, runs a fixed routine for it. A hard, skull-first press against the shin the second Elena's key hits the lock, dragged sideways down the leg, repeated 3 or 4 times before she wanders off satisfied. Reads like devotion. Well, actually, it's chemistry more than sentiment. Cheek glands lay down pheromones the human nose can't register. The same swipe a cat uses on door frames and furniture edges it once claimed. A Maine Coon logs 10 or 15 of these passes in an ordinary evening, and the scent sits there for days after Elena has forgotten the greeting even happened. Bunting closes the argument. This is territory, staked in chemistry no human nose will ever pick up. What comes next leaves no scent and makes no sound at all. 90 degrees is roughly as far as a Maine Coon's spine will roll before the belly points straight at the ceiling. Stomach fur left uncombed and softer than anywhere else on the coat. And in most houses, only one person ever gets shown that angle for longer than a second. Looks like total surrender. Well, actually, it's calculated. The stomach holds everything a predator goes for first. And exposing it means closing off every escape route at once, in front of one specific set of hands. What's actually being tested there? The hands or the patience? The cricket makes more sense once the belly does. A gift is the same trust, turned outward. Proof the cat still counts itself as the household's provider, not just its dependent. Robert has slept 12 feet from Moose's windowsill for 11 years running, and never once come downstairs to find so much as a dead moth waiting on his side of the bed. Timing looks like the whole trick at the door. Well, actually, scent travels on air long before any footstep does. A Maine Coon can pick out one particular engine, one particular gate on gravel, and be sitting square on the mat, tail curled once around the front paws, minutes before the key ever reaches the lock. Run the routine long enough, and the sitting starts on schedule. Wrong engine pulls into the driveway, no cat shows up. Grooming narrows the same way. Looks indiscriminate at first. Actually, it isn't. Ankles get ignored, while hair and the ridge above the eyebrows get licked one strand at a time, sandpaper slow, for sessions that usually run 3 or 4 minutes, about as long as it takes to load a dishwasher. Paw touches do a headbutt's job without the sound, saved for quieter hours. Does the mood in the room get copied back, or only watched? Harder to prove than any of the rest. The daytime catalog runs out of entries there. What's left waits for the house to go dark. The dark resolves it. Every night in the Whitfield house, once the hallway light goes off, Moose crosses the bedroom floor and settles on the rug at Carol's side of the bed. Never Robert's, even though Robert's feet hang 2 inches closer to the door. Proximity should win. It doesn't. Ears stay up longer than a sleeping cat's ears have any reason to. One eye tracks the hallway. The other, it seems, tracks her breathing. Guarding the house? Well, actually no. Vigilance behavior in a bonded animal concentrates on one nervous system, not 4 walls. A Maine Coon posted at a door isn't screening for burglars. It's monitoring a person's breathing rate, the shift of weight under blankets, restlessness that spikes before a bad night fully arrives. The same animal that reads mood in daylight is reading it in the dark, just with the lights off and the stakes higher. Watching the door was never separate from watching her. Back to the cricket on the pillow and its open question. 11 years. And Robert still hasn't been handed a single gift. Sounds like a snub. It isn't. He was never being punished. He was simply never the one being guarded. The prey on the pillow and the body posted at the door are the same transaction, filed in 2 different currencies. Proof of a chosen person. 12 behaviors, 1 applicant. 1 name on the form, submitted daily. Check who yours falls in line behind tonight. That's the application already sitting on your desk.